Hello all, it's Mark from financialfreedomandodyssey.com here with another portfolio update. Today we're going to take a look at portfolio update month number 7, which is for March of 2025. Let's dive right in. Well, March was pretty much nothing but pain. Whole lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Unfortunately, I think this could continue to happen into April, but as we never know if that's the case or not, I am just going to keep on buying. Taking a look at the indices, we have the S&P 500 down 4%, the Nasdaq 100 down 5.75%, Dow Jones around 2.75%, and TSX 60 down just under 1%. And looking at the tickers in my RRSP, as always, VDY was the only one that was slightly positive, and the lowest one, or the one that had dropped the most, was VTI at down about 4.5%. In terms of moves that I made this month, March was another busy month. I did tease that in last week's article for those who read this in written form. And yeah, I made more or less the same amount of moves as I did in February. Looking ahead to April, which, I mean, it's already been a pretty busy April as I'm recording this on the 8th of April. We will see, but I'm guessing it'll be busy. Hopefully not quite as busy as February and March, as I did a lot of kind of buying and selling. And one last thing to call out is I still haven't returned my tax return. Sorry, I still haven't received my tax return, but when it does come in, I think in about a week's time now. I did write a few weeks' time a little while ago, but hopefully within the next week or so, I will deploy that. Taking a look at TFSA buys and sells, I did my classic manually dripped SPLT, and I sold a little bit more pref and added to AMD. Just a reminder, pref is my short/long-term rainy day fund, emergency savings, that sort of thing. SPLT is our joint one. I bought QQCL, Google, and some more VDY. And the big news for this one is I finally bit the bullet. I finally sold my biggest anchor off, AQN, and divided it between a bit more pref. So I did this, I think, a few weeks after I sold this pref, and pref had dropped a little bit more. I debated just dumping it completely into Google and VDY, but I thought I should add a little bit more back to my quote-unquote emergency fund. And as I've written here, ended up being down 49.5%. Anyways, lesson learned, right? Better I learn it now with a smaller position than in the future. I did also decide to get rid of Utes. I think I get enough utilities exposure in VDY, and I think there's some in XEI as well. And it's a new fund, right? That it always kind of worries me. I did buy some new ones back in the day, like HYLD when it first came out and HIV when it first came out, and they dropped pretty severely, I would say, before finding their kind of equilibrium point. So just in case that happens with Utes, I think it's best to get out of it currently. And another exit I did is I completely sold all of my HDIF position. And I put that 2/3 of it into QQCL and 1/3 of it into Google. HDIF, it's been one that I have never really been down too much on, and I've just been collecting the dividend, which is nice. But I think now, since everything has dropped so much, it's time to be a little bit more aggressive and see if I can get some extra gains out of this big dip that we've had here. And just noted here, so QQCL has a higher dividend payout percentage than HDIF. So with it being 2/3, I should see kind of the same amount of cash flow, and then Google for the straight up growth. And once again, I used some of the funds to try to pay off that line of credit for bank as I am no longer on the teaser rate and my bank has not sent me one. Although I do have quite a few emails to check, so who knows? Fingers crossed, maybe there's one in there. So, taking a look at my TFSA breakdown in the pie chart here, I did decide to add AMD and Google since I'm likely going to be holding them for longer term. So they are still, as I've called out before, relatively small positions, but you'll see that there's no more HDIF on here, there's no more Utes on here, and there's no AQN sitting at the top. I guess now it's just AMD in AQN's position, but. And as always, bank was bought on credit. SBLT is our part of our joint emergency fund. Yeah, the only one I'm really thinking of exiting now is T or TELUS, and I would probably just put it into some into XEI and some into bank. But if you take a look at where's T on here? So T's 4%, bank is 9.5, and XEI, yeah. So they're pretty much split in terms of sizing, equal sizing. So yeah, I might just do half and half. Haven't decided yet. Anyways, I'm still down a bit on TELUS, and I think it has a chance to rally pretty hard, so I'm going to hold on to it for now. If I look at it on an account by account basis, the primary TFSA looks like this, with VDY being the largest position and SBLT being the second biggest. And then looking at the secondary, bank, then XEI, then VFV and TD are pretty close. Taking a look at buys in the RRSP. I think I've talked about this a few times in the past, but if not, I've been thinking about doing a spousal RRSP for a while, just because of the discrepancies in our income between mine and my partners. And so yeah, we finally pulled the trigger and we opened up a spousal RRSP, and for its inaugural purchases, went with some bank and some QQCL. And a note here, do realize seems like I've just been buying QQCL down, down, down. But yeah, I still think there's a lot upside ahead. Could be a little bit more downside, but long term, I believe there's a lot more upside. So I believe it is a good position. I don't have a breakdown for that one. I might in the future. Right now, bank is, I think, like 2/3, and QQCL is about 1/3 of the holdings in there. So yeah, so there'll be not much change here in my RRSP. It'll just be whatever fluctuations happened in the market, as I did not buy anything in my RRSP this month. I bought it in the new spousal RRSP. Nothing of note on the dividend increases and decreases chart, and in the fear and greed index, time of writing the article, which is March 31st, we are sitting in 21 extreme fear. Fear and greed index. Just want to look at what it was right now. Wow, we are sitting at a 4 currently. Oh, sorry, let me go to website. Yeah, so we're sitting at a 4, which is wild. I don't think I've ever seen it in single digits outside of this week. I did check yesterday, and it was that low. So yeah, crazy times that we're living in here for sure. And that's all that we have for the portfolio update this month. Yeah, thanks all for reading and supporting me. And next week, I believe I'm going to do the look back or review on the first quarter and see how I've done on my goals that we set back in January. Take care. Cheers.